Today we're in the Texas Living classroom, and we're going to learn a little bit about how to have confidence in the kitchen. With me today, I've got our instructor who's been with us for 6 years now, Doris Pettis. Everyone here calls her Miss D. I call her Miss D. So Miss D, kind of get us started and take it away.
Hi, everybody. Like Eric says, my name is Miss D. And today we're going to look at how to build confidence in our kitchen. And we're going to look at several areas in the kitchen. And so I've got it laid out for you in different areas. We're going to look at how we pour without spilling. We're going to look at measuring dry ingredients versus liquid ingredients, how we do that safely and successfully without making a mess. So I'm going to take you through each component, and then I'm going to slide on over and we're going to look at some of the technologies that we use in our kitchen. We use different kinds of things so that it helps us when we're cooking, and it helps us in terms of timing things and how we do things effectively and how we label things. So we're going to look at that area. So that's the area I'm in right now. Then I'm going to move over a little bit more, and then I'm going to talk about safety. Safety in the kitchen is our most, that is the most important thing. How to stay safe, and how we use utensils like knives, how do we use a potato peeler, how do we use things like an iron, how do we use a griddle iron, how do we use an induction cooktop or either air fryer, how do we cook on a waffle iron, how do we use a George Foreman, how do we use electric skillet, and we're going to talk about things that we use to help stay safe while we're doing those things. So we'll move back on over to pouring and measuring, because pouring and measuring is really important when you're in the kitchen cooking. Because if you are baking a cake and the cake is calling for certain ingredients, you definitely need to know how to measure, because 1 cup of flour does not equal 3 cups of flour. So you need to know when you can do that. So in here, I have a container here. We're gonna pretend like it's flour. And since I don't want to make a mess, it's rice. So a lot of times when I ask the students to give me 1 cup, we use cups like this. These are your measuring cups. Measuring cups that comes in a set of 4 usually come 1 cup, half a cup, a third of a cup, and a fourth of a cup. However, we have some students who use Braille. These are a set of our Braille cups. It goes all the way from 1/4 of a cup or 1/8 of a cup all the way down to 2 cups. So those are the things. Also, I have a little bowl here. I call this our overflow bowl. So like if you are pouring, say, vanilla into a cake and it only calls for a teaspoon, being blind, it's hard to see that teaspoon when you can't put your finger in and see if it's leveled out. So a lot of times we just hold the teaspoon over the overflow bowl, pour the vanilla in it, and if it flows over, that's good, because then you'll have just enough to make your cake, just a teaspoonful. So I am gonna measure out 1/4 cup of flour. So this is my flour today. I scoop it up. Usually, one important thing when you're measuring, never pack your ingredients. If you pack it, like if this is sugar or flour and it only calls for 1/4 of a cup, if you pack it, you'll put more than what the recipe calls for. So be very careful when you're doing that. So usually, if it's too much and you want to level it off, we use a little knife or a spoon or your fingers. You can take your finger and go straight across, balance it out, pour it into your measuring bowl or whatever you're using, okay? Now, when we're doing liquid ingredients, we're gonna pretend like this is oil, and I need 1 tablespoon of oil for this cake. I usually pick up the measuring spoons. Measuring spoons also comes in a set of 4. You usually have the tablespoon, the teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and 1/4 a teaspoon. So we're gonna use a tablespoon of oil. Of course, this is water, right? Everybody knows that. So I am gonna put 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm putting a tablespoon in here. So This is my overflow bowl. So I'll do it like this. You see how it went over? It spilled over. But I got just the tablespoon in my measuring spoon, so my recipe won't be ruined. That's how that goes. Good. So I'm gonna move now over to pouring without spilling. A lot of times, as a blind person, we have a tendency to use our fingers to indicate when to stop pouring something. But if you're pouring coffee, would you stick your finger in a hot cup of coffee to give it to someone? No. And furthermore, I wouldn't want your finger in my glass or my coffee anyway. That's not what I'm looking for. I might want sugar or cream, not a finger. Since it's hot, we use something like this. This is our coffee pot. And I can't see to determine how much coffee I got in there. So I use a device this is called a liquid indicator. There's two stems that's on the back of this here indicator, and it goes into your cup. When I pour my coffee, it's gonna tell me when to stop by beeping. That's an indicator that I have enough water, but I can go a little bit more, but you wouldn't want to because most of the people I know want 4 sugars, 6 creamers. So you want to have enough room to put that in. So you don't have to worry about sticking your finger in the measure. So the liquid indicator is perfect. You can use that in glasses when you're pouring your water or you're doing coffee. Also, it allows you, if you are serving someone coffee, you can walk with the coffee cup and not worry about spilling it because it's not filled to the top. Okay? Now, this is some of the technology things that we use in our classroom. Today, I'm going to introduce you to what we call the pen friend. The pen friend is a little device that has 4 buttons on it. The top button is our power button. The button underneath that is our record button. Then the third button down, that's our volume. And then the last one, it hooks up to music like an MP3 player, any of those things. But we use this, and how this is used is it comes in a little box like this, and it has labels on it that can tell you what each function does. And you can use it with batteries. You can charge it to your computer when you want to charge it up. So it works good for labeling all of your spices in your kitchen. You can label cabinets. You can label clothes. You can, what else can you label? You can label almost anything. Your medication. It does a lot of different things. Even the stickers that come in, you'll get stickers that says you can put them on some of your clothing. You can put them in the back. They'll take a few washes before they wear off. So they're really good. So I'm gonna show you how the pen friend works. I'm gonna first get out some stickers. These are the stickers that'll come in your case. It'll come with your little pen friend. And all you do is take a sticker, you put it on top of something, whatever you want to label. Like this is all-purpose seasoning. There's a sticker at the top of this. When you turn your pen friend on and you're trying to find all-purpose seasoning, that's the indicator to let you know your pen friend is on, and there's a red light that comes on. You put the pen to it. Salt-free, all-purpose seasoning, which all of us need to be salt-free. So you use that, or it might be this one. Garlic salt. Some of you are wondering, what about canned goods? How do you do that? Because you're going to end up throwing canned goods away, right? You don't keep that. Spices you might have 3 and 4 months because you don't use spices like you would use a whole can of green beans. Your pen friend comes with little magnets. And the magnets, you could put a little sticker on it. And when you put the sticker on it, you could sit the magnets on the can. And when you open the can and you use all the green beans, you throw away the can, but you put the magnet on your refrigerator. So when you go back to the store and buy some more green beans, you don't have to rename that can. So you can put your pen print on it. Cut green beans, that's what it says. So that works really well for doing those things. Also, another good labeling device is what we call Strip Talk. And this is this little device. I'm wondering, do you need to know how to record on this? I turned it off too quick, but let me show you something. When I want to record, and especially if I record over something, I put it on the stop, green beans. Now, so you heard my voice, so I recorded over that. So that's a good thing. The stickers are reusable. All you have to do is go over what you said, put it on there, press the button, hear the beep, start talking. As soon as you finish talking, click, and it'll cut it off. All right, moving along. The pen print also works for doing your medication as well. And so when we do medication, we use the pen print or what we call the Script Talk. The Script Talk is a device that comes with 3 different components. It has a button that tells you what the functions of Script Talk is. And the middle button is the button that indicates or reads the medication for you. This is an example of a medication. Walgreens or some of your pharmacists will put these labels on your medication. You would turn your Script Talk on, press the button, you hear the little beep.
Patient. John J. Smith, medication. Amoxicillin, 250 milligram capsule. Instructions. Take 1 capsule 3 times daily. Quantity, 30 capsules. Prescription date, 2020. Used by June 10th, 2021. Refills remaining. 0. Prescriber. Doctor, thank you.
I don't need to know who my doctor is. I need to know, how do I take the medication? So if I take 3 times a day, then I'll know. All I have to do is run my prescription bottle across the Script Talk and it'll tell me. And when I'm done, I press that center button and it stops talking. All right. This is what we call a meat thermometer. As a blind individual, we can't tell if the meat is done because we can't see it. We can feel it, but we need something that will help us to identify if the meat is done. So this thermometer sticks into the center of your meat. It looks like a ice pick, but it's not. It has a couple of buttons, and up at the top of this button, it usually tells you the temperature, and on the side, it tells you on and off. Now this is on. If I were to put it in a potato, it would tell you the temperature of that potato. And one of the unique things that we use in our classroom, especially in the kitchen, is our Google Assistant. And all I would have to say is, hey, Google, what temperature should a potato be when we bake it to know that it's done?
Sure, I've got a recipe called How to Bake a Potato from Simply Recipes. This recipe serves 1 and takes about 50 minutes to make. Does that sound good?
No.
No problem. To choose a different one, just use Google search to find a recipe on your phone and tap the cook button below it.
Okay, now Google will give you step-by-step instructions on how to prepare a dish. Also, it will tell you how long to cook something for. If I was saying, hey, Google, How long does it take to cook a hamburger on a George Foreman grill?
Here's what I understood from the website foremangrillrecipes.com. Grill the burgers for 3 to 5 minutes with the top closed. Do you want a little more context?
Yes.
Grill the burgers for 3 to 5 minutes with the top closed. 5. Serve the hamburgers on Kaiser rolls with toppings and sides.
Well, that's not what I was looking for, but it's telling you how to do that. You can ask them how to bake a cake, and Google will take you step by step to bake a cake. It'll tell you how many cups of flour. And the unique thing about Google, it waits until you're ready. If I said, hey, Google, how to bake a lemon cake?
All right, I've got a recipe called lemon layer cake with lemon cream cheese buttercream from Sally's Baking Addiction.
Ooh.
This recipe serves 10 and takes about 4 hours to make. Does that sound good?
Right now, I'm gonna say yes.
I'm not sure.
Okay, Google says not sure, but yes. Google gonna go step by step. It'll ask me, would you like to start with the ingredients or the instructions? And usually I'll say ingredients. And as I prep for my meal, it takes me through each step. It may say 2 cups of flour. It gives me time to go get the flour and whatever. And then I say, hey, Google, next step. And then it takes me through that and through on and on and on and on until we get to the temperature of the stove and how to put it in and when it's done. So Google is really a good assistant in the kitchen. And that's one of the most used technology that we use in our kitchen that's excellent for cooking. Also, we use Alexa. Alexa just turned on because she heard her
Sorry,
name.
I don't know how that's done.
So a lot of times we use Alexa. We use Alexa when we are in the classroom and we're prepping for something, and we might just want to listen to some smooth jazz or any kind of music or something soft. And we may say, Alexa, play smooth jazz. She will. I don't want to say it too loud because we've got other people who uses Alexa and I may turn on their Alexa. So Alexa is here for the use. Now I'm moving on down and I'm gonna go into things that we use in the kitchen. And our priority is keeping you safe while you're cooking in the kitchen. As you can see, I have a potato here. This is what we call a potato peel. So I teach the students how to hold a potato safely and how to peel it. And when we do this, it just slides down and pull, and it just slides and it just peels the potato for you. I have some students who don't have a lot of movement in some of their hands. So I use a device like this, and I put the potato on it, and I can peel this way. I don't have to try to hold it with my hands, and I can lay it on the table. I have it up to just to show you viewers how it works. So that's how that works. But using a knife, that's a big deal in our kitchen because you need to know how to use a knife and how to use it safely. Usually, when we're cutting, either I put my hand over, guide the knife, like the knife is through the tunnel, and I bring the knife in and bring it down and bring it out. So this potato is cut in half. And so we want to cut it into French fries. So I'll lay it on its stomach. I guide the knife. Either I can put the knife up against my fingers or my knuckles to make sure you don't cut your fingers. You want to keep them, right? You're planning on using them for future things, right? So now we cut the potatoes. And that's all. You go and cut your potatoes. These are steak fries. If I want to make them smaller, I just put it down, put the knife through. That's a smaller cut. If we are using knives, we make sure that we position the knife. Usually the knife is always facing the cutting board so they'll know they won't grab it that way and cut because it's always inwards toward the cutting board, okay? Moving down. This is our iron. And I know a lot of you are laughing at me right now because nobody uses iron anymore but me. I'm the old school person. I'm still ironing things, but they have that downy wrinkle free that you can put in the dryer and it knocks the wrinkles off. And I know most of you know that. But if you are using the iron and you are skeptical of getting burned, you see this iron, it's got what we call guards on it. And that guard is a protective guard. So if you're ironing, you hit the guard, you're not gonna hit your hand. It's way up above, so you don't touch it, so you won't get burned. What's important when you using an ironing board or an iron, you have to know how to position that iron. And you have to position it away from your hand so that when your hand touch it, it hits the handle. And if you're getting ready to pick up the handle, you follow the cord, and the cord is gonna take you to the handle, okay? All right, moving into the kitchen, all of our safety appliances, okay? This is called a griddle iron, and it's something we do waffles, we can do bacon. We use this because those who are afraid of fire, these are safety tabletop appliances that they can use and not worry about getting burned. So they can put strips of bacon, they can do eggs simultaneously, they can do pancakes, they can cook a whole breakfast on a griddle iron. And what I have in my hand is what we call a double spatula. Often, if we need to pick up and we want to grip it, we can grab it and flip it over much easier. So that's it. Everybody knows or probably have heard of air fryers now. It's supposed to be really a healthy thing to use. It opens, it pulls the drawer out, and it has a little basket. All you do is spray the basket with some of your little Pam. You season your food, you lay it in there, and then you put the basket back in. Usually it'll tell you to preheat your air fryer. You turn it on, put the temperature, how long it takes. Google can tell you that too. If you just say, hey Google, how long does it take to cook French fries in the air fryer? And Google usually will answer. Today, he's not feeling like it, and I'm not talking loud as I usually do in the kitchen, so it's ignoring me. This is something unique. I've had lots of students who are afraid of cooking on gas, and they cook on electric stoves at home, or they just recently lost their sight and they have gas appliances in their home, but they're afraid to use them. This is what we call an induction cooktop. And you pick it up. I call it my blind-friendly appliance because it is so simple to use and it's safe. There's a little button that's over to the far left. That's the power button. Then there's two more little buttons that goes up and down. And then there's three more small buttons over on the side. One has the timer, one has the temperature, and one has the function. Induction cooktops, you can only use stainless steel pots and pans on them to cook. And the way you can tell if something is stainless steel, this is a magnet. See, it sticks to the pot. That's how I know this is stainless steel. So I'm gonna cook something on the induction cooktop, and I'm gonna just set the timer for about 3 minutes. Actually, I've tested the induction cooktop against the gas stove to see who heats up the fastest. Induction cooktop won that race. So what's unique about the induction cooktop, I have water in here. I'm sitting it on here. I turn the power on. You hear it. If you lift the pot from the induction cooktop, it stops. Hear that? So it stops cooking. If you are cooking and you're baking on 350, when you push the temperature gauge, you can take the temperature up. It starts off at 230, then it goes 260. It goes in 30-minute increments until it gets to 400, and then it goes into 20 minutes increments. So that's how that works. And then it's really good. This here particular pot that I have on there, it's warm, only up under the bottom. What's really nice to know, I can touch the induction cooktop all around the sides and it's not gonna get hot. It only cooks in the center and around the pot. So that's a safe thing. And the pot we're using, although it's stainless steel, it's what you call a strainer pot. It has little holes in it. Like if you're cooking pasta and you need to drain the water out, you can do that with this pot. All right. Of course, you've heard of a waffle iron. We use this a lot in our classroom when we're doing breakfasts. A George Foreman. And George Foreman has a drip pan and it just sits in front of it and we use that a lot. The electric skillet. This is really nice to use. This is a Tectone electric skillet. It's got, on the control, it's got little bumps on it, like 2 bumps for 200, then the middle bump lets you know you're at 250, then it has a set of 3 bumps that lets you know you're at 300, and then so on and so on, all the way up to 450. So the reason why we use electric skillet in our classroom, especially, it's easier to use and it's easier to find your food. Like if you're trying to flip something, it's just a square area where you can find everything easier because you have these little walls just right there around. And so you can't push it any further off. So it's a good thing to have. So, and last but not least, if you are cooking in your oven or on your grill, you need your oven mitts. That's important. These are heat resistant oven mitts. They will go up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit to protect you. Okay. Any questions?
If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, Doris, by the way, that was really good. And one thing I want to conclude with is World Services for the Blind does have a scholarship that covers life skills. We know that vocational rehabilitation most likely will not cover life skills, and that's part of this classroom. So we have a 90-day scholarship that covers room and board and training here on campus. And if you guys want to look into that scholarship or you have questions about that, give us a call, 501-664-7100, and ask for Rebecca Reed, and she'll be your point of contact. And you, a part of that is you get to be here in this classroom with Ms. D, learning everything she's talked about thus far. So yeah, we'll open it up for questions, or otherwise we can just end it here. So you guys let us know what you're thinking.
And I just want to conclude with, there's more that goes on in techniques of daily living. So we cover a lot of areas. So, and also we are here to accommodate your needs and where you're at. So when you walk into this classroom, you might say, Ms. D, I really need to learn how to flat iron my hair because I'm getting ready for an interview. That may be a priority or something, and we can work on that. We work on many skills, even how to shop in the grocery store, how to label your clothes, how to, how to do your laundry. So we do lots of different things. So it's not just here. It would go on and on. So.
Lee, do we have any questions in the chat?
We do not.
All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. And again, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. This will be shared, so feel free to share it once you get it. For those who weren't able to participate today, thank you all for signing up and share it. Let your friends know that we're out here, and we're look forward to seeing you guys again in the future. So y'all take care.
All right, see you later.